easier it is to sell souls.
There is a new price on freedom, so buy into it while supplies last. Changes need to be made. No more curbside baggage. 7 p.m. curfew. Racial profiling will continue with less bitching. We've unified over who to kill, so until I find more relevant scripture to quote, remember, our God is bigger, stronger, smarter, and much wealthier. So wave those flags with pride, especially the white part.
We're selling addictive 24-hour candlelight vigils in TVs. Freedom will be defended at the cost of civil liberties. The viewers are glued to television screens, stuck, cause lots of things seem too sick. I use opportunities to pluck heartstrings for theme music. I show you which culture to pump.
All right, welcome to the Grift. I'm the River Now.
I am Gonzo.
It has been a week. All right, speaking of it being a week, I want to start with an editor's note. Now, we may get some feedback on this episode, so before we do, just we want to let you know that we here at the Grift do not support or engage or condone in any kind of violence or violent rhetoric. We accept and hope to have all types of political dialogue here on the show, and in no way is anything that we discuss going to suggest that we are talking about actual real-world violence, but only hypothetical situations of self-defense. Now, that being said, today I choose violence. Literally. For those who don't know, the Daily Caller made a great piece.
I was 3 gins in when I discovered that on Saturday night.
You came right up to me.
Yeah. So the Daily Caller is a website that exists.
It is. It has a fairly large audience on the far right, and a lot of what they do or say translates into action from the right. So they help shape the narrative in a way that I feel is dangerous. So most normies, most liberals and centrists, and even a lot of mainline conservatives don't have a clue what's going on, but the shit that your crazy right-wing uncle says,
It's essentially an online version of the old John Birch Society newsletter.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember seeing old John Birch Society newsletters back in the days. Do you remember the New Federalist?
Oh,
the New
yes.
Federalist newspaper. If you ever had to fight a LaRoucheite on campus in the 90s, there's the Daily Caller.
Yeah, there was
I'll be president someday.
Lyndon LaRouche.
Lyndon LaRouche. I'm a political prisoner. They threw me in prison because I didn't pay taxes, but that's all a scam.
God, what a character. So it's been a fucking nightmare of a week as far as like
it's been the dumbest week in a long time.
And
holy shit. We've had some dumb goddamn weeks in 2025.
Yeah. So,
although I do already know what my good news of the week is for Sam, so
let's
save that for later. I know what my good news is, and it's very good news, I think.
Excellent. I want to start with that unhinged meeting, but propaganda experience, set of announcements from the SecDef and president that
it was deranged and unhinged, which we say a lot, but this was unusually deranged and unhinged, even by modern 2025 standards.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ. You got... So the president, I paid very little attention to what his part of the speech was, except because it's old man crazy rambling most of the time.
Yeah.
But he had a few key points where, he talked about us using troops to U.S. cities to train the troops, talking about how it's really bad and that we can't tell the enemies aren't wearing uniforms, so it's even worse than a war. Mm-hmm. Telling our senior brass that they were going to go to war with U.S. cities. It just a number of things there that he said that were bothersome, and my God, was this so those who for whatever reason were living under a rock, like all of our senior military leadership were called to a meeting in Quantico, the Marine base.
800 of them, 800 some.
800 and some change. All the senior brass, like the generals, the admirals, a number of colonels and top leadership across our entire military, which some of the attendees, speaking on background like Politico, talked about how, one, most of that should have been an email.
It could have been an email.
And two, that, it was a serious strategic risk that we should never have taken.
It created an opportunity that was not taken.
Yeah.
But it created an opportunity for any foreign adversary to have potentially taken out the entirety of our military leadership, the Secretary of Defense, and the President of the United States at once.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
How that happened,
It was a bad idea.
Yeah,
it was a really bad idea. They got really fucking lucky. It didn't turn into a genuine international calamity, because it could have. Because I don't know what, despite any criticisms you may have about the U.S. military or Pete Hegseth or Donald Trump, all of them dying at once would have international consequences that we cannot even begin to comprehend.
No, that's the kind of incident that starts a...
Do you remember in King Ralph, when every member of the royal family died at once, and John Goodman became the King of England? It's that, but stupider.
Right. That is the kind of incident that starts is the precipitating event in an alt history novel or a sci-fi action story, or a dystopian movie.
Yeah.
The whole senior government just gone
in an instant. And to announce where they were all going to be, when and where they were all going to be, weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's...
I mean, I understand the logistics of getting everybody there. It would have been impossible to...
It's probably the most, wildly irresponsible thing any Secretary of Defense has done in the history of the United States of America, in the history of Secretary's Defense.
Yeah. And, of course, that leads to the other part, which was the Secretary of Defense using it as an opportunity to basically just dress down senior leadership for the most part.
I need you skinny and smooth.
Right.
Just an hour of I need you to be skinny and smooth.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird, my drunken dude.
But the policy announcements that came out of that are worrying, because it suggests that they are going to end anonymous reporting for sexual assault and other forms of harassment in the military.
I don't see what could possibly go wrong there.
Repeat reporting of the same individual or multiple reports against multiple individuals. They're no longer going to do sidelining or slowing down people's careers. So basically, all right, let's take Hegseth as an example.
Mm-hmm.
The man has some credible sexual misconduct allegations against him. Multiple, and has been an alcoholic for a very long time.
As far as we know, since birth.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been since birth.
And he had a long career in both the National Guard with a couple of deployments, right? Yet he never got any serious promotions.
Right.
Right. Did only 2 overseas tours. One of them was as a trainer.
It's funny. He never got any serious promotions because, despite claims to the otherwise, the military is one of the few genuine meritocracies that exist.
There's some politics that plays in there, but
if you're good,
right,
you're promoted.
And
if you're good and you don't quit,
yeah, and you're not a scumbag people don't want to work for.
Right.
And that's the things that sideline your career so that they don't, because man, the guy's an infantry officer and never got a Ranger tab. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Weird.
right? Never did any real special operator training at all. Like, that says something. That says that his chain of command, his leadership, never sent him up that rank, up those ranks, and that people above him saw him as a problem. He was also removed from Biden's like security detail thing for like the inauguration, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was flagged as an internal threat.
I mean, the 15 or 20 white supremacist tattoos are probably a good indication that maybe there's something slightly hinky going on there.
Yeah, and his online presence. I mean, the guy was basically too racist for Feet Finder. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Why don't we just have? Why isn't the foot of the day always white?
So yeah,
I think the feet of the day should be exclusively Caucasian.
What is it? What is it with these guys and one, really weird kinks, and two, being racist in really weird kink spaces?
I mean, one,
Like,
being racist comes with being right wing.
right.
Like, even if you don't intend to, and even if you don't know you're doing it, you're doing it. Like, it's just how that works.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you guys.
But the kink thing, they are the most unhappy and repressed human beings on the face of the earth. It's why Grindr crashes every time there's like an RNC convention or CPAC or a funeral for a podcaster.
Right. It just fascinates me because like the more like extreme the individual is and the more like bizarre or right wing their politics may be outwardly, when you scratch the surface, you find a weirder kink.
Yeah, and that's
right?
why it's like that's why it's so horrifying that they're so loud and screaming about pedophiles right now, because they cannot tell on themselves. Like, that's all they do. So when they start screaming about pedophiles nonstop, it's like, oh God, they're all pedophiles.
Right. Like, how many of them have fucked some teenagers
Or younger?
That's my question.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted Cruz's amazing gaffe that he did not walk back or correct.
I cannot wait until whoever his opponent is in his re-election campaign bases their entire campaign.
Can't we all come together and agree that we need to stop attacking pedophiles? Thank you for that one, Ted Cruz.
That was...
And
maybe he's just tired. And that's how he retires. And he just, I'm gonna torpedo it so I can blame people, and
he continued onward,
just like he didn't even
correcting it or it. So I saw just that clip and I was like, I got to check context on this, and I watched the whole thing. And I was like,
I wonder how long after he was completely done he realized what he said. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't realize it until someone showed him the tape later.
That's what I'm betting. I was just thinking, like, when you started asking that question. He gets out of the hearing, opens up his phone, and he's got his Twitter.
50 fucking messages from staff. Ted. Mr. Cruz.
You're all over Twitter. You said something on C-SPAN that you probably shouldn't have said.
I think you made a mistake, sir.
Yeah. Oh, my God. To circle back to the Hegseth insanity, the other thing that is pretty clear is that within the next 6 years, we're not going to have a lot of black men in the military at all. The shaving thing. So...
Which sounds innocuous if you don't understand why it's a thing.
Yeah. So the United States military didn't even have a shaving requirement. They had some grooming requirements about the being kempt, right?
Yeah, I completely understand. Hey, if you have facial hair, keep it trimmed and short.
Yeah.
Perfectly reasonable.
But they didn't have shaving requirements until World War I. Why World War I? Gas attacks. Like, we implemented the policy not because smooth-shaven men are real men.
Not because we love twinks.
Right. Like, we didn't institute that.
It can cause a gas mask to not seal properly, and in World War I in particular, that was a problem.
Yeah. Since then, our modern gas masks, gas attacks are much rarer. Chemical weapons use in warfare is much rarer than it used to be.
Yeah.
Because of a series of treaties, conventions,
Yeah.
devastating wars against
Rules
countries.
of engagement.
Devastating wars against countries that did use them, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, Iraq had a history of using chemical weapons. Look what happened to their regime after that became, like, public knowledge.
Yeah.
That was one of the excuses that the West continuously used against
It's a
them.
bad look.
Right.
It was used against Syria.
Yeah.
It was used against Assad.
And so it's a bad look, and once it becomes a bad look, you become a pariah state, and blah, blah, blah.
It's just a PR nightmare.
Yeah. The other thing is, since it's much on top of it being much rarer, the gas masks that we do have fit much better, and you can usually get a seal or close to a good seal with facial hair, right? So it's nowhere near as necessary. I mean, special operators are the ones that often actually are wearing some type of mask or gas mask or respirators in certain situations, right? And they're usually not required to shave themselves, like SEALs, Force Recon, etc. Don't do a lot of that. So it's pointless. But for our probably mostly white audience out there, black hair is different. And shaving waivers among the general rank and file troops are because of medical need mostly. A little bit of religious need for, like, Sikhs, right? But medical need mostly for our black soldiers, because they get ingrown hairs and shaving bumps when they shave, and it's
an infection risk.
Yeah, high infection
which you
risk.
certainly don't want in a combat zone. It's just simple logistics, although it would appear that we do not care about logistics anymore.
Right.
In the United States military.
And so and it is incredibly common among black soldiers, even in the conditions that they work through with sweat and dirt and grime. Like, it's a big risk, and you're gonna watch a lot of soldiers get medicaled out. A lot of black soldiers choose not to continue serving because they don't feel appreciated, and their faces are always fucking tore up.
You'll see the re-enlistment rates plummet.
Yeah. And you'll see fewer of them join. You
will.
Especially with this, like, paired with this attack on DEI that seems to only end DEI for anyone that's not white.
Yeah, it did feel very specifically like Hegseth is trying to create an exclusively white male Christian U.S. military.
Yeah.
And that meet very specific physical standards. There are not enough young men who meet all this criteria in the United States.
No, and like,
I've seen the white male Christians.
he's also just dishonest about the standards issue. Like, one, since 2000, since this year, but it had been phased in up to this point. The physical standards for female soldiers in combat roles are identical to the male standards, right? The exact same standards, and they changed the standards to an age-based standard rather than separated by gender,
Which
right?
makes sense.
Yeah, and
If you can keep up with your age group, cool.
right.
You've kept up with your age group.
And
You've met the standards of your age group.
And the thing is like, a 45, 55, 65-year-old in fucking military is not going to be a active grunt.
No.
Like, that's not their role.
No.
We need smart people.
He's got a very Warhammer 40K approach to things, where it's like anybody might have to be like a frontline fighter at any moment.
It's an aesthetic choice.
When at this point, like, so much of our warfare is done from like an Xbox 360 controller in Nebraska.
Right. That's the idea that the United States military was made the most powerful military in the world because of our badass hula troops, I hate to break it to you, it's not it.
No,
Like,
if that was ever the case, it stopped being the case a long, long, long time ago.
yeah. It was because we have more money and more intellectual capital here in the United States, so that those doughy bearded guys that fucking Hegseth seems to hate so much, you know, are good at logistics, intelligence, planning, and technology, or designing weapons.
Yeah.
Right? And
Remote piloting. They're
remote
good
piloting.
at that.
Like, and those are the things that make our military the most fearsome in the world, is money and weaponry. It has very little to do with how many dudes can hump an 80-pound rucksack.
Look at how rarely we actually put boots on the ground.
Yeah. Like,
It's not like we don't do military exercises and we don't engage in military conflicts. We just do it without needing to put boots on the ground.
correct. And we haven't been terribly successful at doing much with putting boots on the ground since World War II.
Hey, we've gotten a lot of people killed.
Yeah. Like, we can hold an area for a while. But, I mean, you know, like, we
thinned out the young male population by 50,000 in Vietnam.
right.
You know, come on.
But yeah, and Vietnam was the last, like, real war where we utilized ground components at scale.
Yeah, and it was a disaster, and that's why we stopped.
You're right. Like, and you know, Iraq, Afghanistan, those were predominantly air power, right? And then we use ground power after we have softened up
you would just
everything.
bomb the shit out of a region, pushing the line back and back,
Yeah,
and then taking
right. Which,
territory behind that line.
you know, that's what we're good at.
Yeah.
We can do that
Once
all
you
day
take
long.
territory, it's a lot easier to, like, hold on to it.
Yep, and you don't need a whole military full of guys that are physically capable of doing that. Yeah, you just need enough guys capable of doing that. That's all you need. We've got plenty of.
Our recruitment numbers, while up in 2024, not great.
No,
Not great overall, and I don't know that excluding everyone who's not a straight white Christian is going to bump those numbers. Straight white Christian male.
Yeah, I've seen the kind of guy who posts on Stormfront. They think,
And I keep seeing people. It's like these paranoid, like they're gonna start drafting people. It's like, okay, they're gonna start drafting people, but he still only wants straight white Christian men.
right?
So are we just going to have a draft for, like, young white Christian men? I don't know about you, but I have a feeling MAGA might decide to have a little bit of a problem with their sons exclusively being draftable.
Yeah, no
And
shit.
everybody else just excluded.
Yeah, getting drafted and then cut right away.
Yeah.
Right? Like they show up to the office and it's like nope, and it's like just like 5 white Christian kids left who are in good shape. Like, you 5 get to stay, and their middle class parents are like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. I don't like this.
Like, the country down here tore itself apart during Vietnam over that shit.
Yeah.
It's not gonna.
There's a reason there's a reason why, despite needing to sign up for selective service, we don't have a draft anymore.
Yeah, like the moral necessity of a draft will come if there's ever a third world war, an alien invasion.
Yeah, and at which
or-
point I don't think you need to draft people at that point. It
Probably
becomes such an all-consuming conflict. Everybody's involved anyway.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a non-issue, but in the event, right? Like, yeah, sure, I could maybe see a draft coming if we get an alien invasion. Like, you know, like
3i Atlas is out there. It's on its way. I know it's just a comment, and that makes me sad because it could have been the end.
So, in the news, we got Trump issuing an executive order declaring any attack on Qatar be treated as a threat to U.S. security. That one's interesting because it's like a response to Israel. Like, I don't understand it. Also, it directs the Secretary of War, which, again, I have questions about these executive orders ordering the Secretary of War to do things as far as their legality.
There is no such thing as a Secretary of War.
Right.
That is not a position in the United States government.
They claim that they have renamed it.
You can't just do that.
But it can only be done by an act of Congress.
It has to be done by statute.
Yeah.
And, like, what's funny is, like, what's amazing to me is that, like, his party controls the House and the Senate. And it seems like that would be an easy thing for them to just be able to give him.
Right.
And they can't.
They
can't. They know they can't, to the point that he didn't even try.
That is so. I get I ask myself the question of how much of this is because dictators like to dictate without a legislature, right? And how much of it is that their party can't accomplish shit.
Yeah.
Because they haven't, except for the one big beautiful bill, which is terrible and
God,
full of
the
garbage.
lengths they had to go through to get that through.
Yeah, and it's causing problems right now.
And it's why there's a government shutdown, which is probably the other biggest piece of news from this week.
Yep. That was going to be my segue here. We are the government shutdown. As of today, the United States government is out of statutory authority to pay bills and is not operating on a fiscal appropriation.
And they could have just extended the CR from December until they had a final budget.
Yeah. Well, it's technically as of midnight yesterday, but yeah, no, they and why? Well, Republicans are going out of their way to try to blame Democrats to a point where they're violating a number of federal laws.
At a minimum,
rules.
they are almost definitely violating the Hatch Act.
Yes. So a huge number of government agencies, their websites have a pop-up blaming the radical left for the shutdown.
We know somebody who until yesterday, worked for the federal government, and she was talking about how she has friends who are still employed, and they have been instructed to change their auto responses on their emails while they're out of the office to blame the radical left Democrats.
Yes, they're very.
We can't respond right now because the radical left Democrats have shut down the government.
Yeah, that's huge violations of the Hatch Act. Totally illegal.
Insofar as that means anything.
That. But also, it's total nonsense. The Republican Party controls the House. They control the Senate. They have a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court, and they have the office of the presidency.
Yes.
Right? All four of our pieces of government and the federal level, all of the checks, all the balances, all of the legislative and legal authorities granted across the entire federal government are under Republican control right now.
And they can't keep the lights on.
Right. Democrats are refusing to cave.
Surprisingly.
Now, they're getting even dumb blame from like the Washington Post, which is like the progressives are forcing them to drive themselves off the cliff. It's bad. It's the coverage of this is stupid. Any news organization that is helping blame the Democrats for this needs a fucking lobotomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the part of the problem is all of our entire media apparatus is owned by like 6 billionaires.
Yeah, and they're too afraid of Trump and the administration to do anything. They want to both sides everything because it's good for their ratings and clicks.
Yep.
Like, the whole apparatus is broken, right? But on top of it being broken, it's so bluntly, factually wrong. The Democrats are asking for one and only one thing.
And it's such a gimme. It's such a like, oh yeah, we should definitely do this because it's going to fuck us if we don't.
Right.
Like, what they're asking for helps Republicans.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Because it helps millions of real people.
Right.
And that's the thing.
Which means millions of real people aren't going to blame Republicans for taking away their ACA subsidies.
Right. So that's what they're demanding, is that the ACA subsidies that are statutorily required remain in place.
Right. So when your health insurance premiums literally double, it's because the Republicans decided to shut down the government over it.
And they're trying very clearly to blame this on the Democrats and spin it as if illegal aliens are getting $1.4 trillion in
Free healthcare.
in free healthcare, which is absolute bullshit. Head to toe, top down.
I mean, for one thing, if we spent $1.4 trillion, everyone would be getting free healthcare.
Right.
Like, which we could do. We could do that.
I mean, I think that's the entire Medicare and Medicaid budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So currently, we're not doing that. They're illegal immigrants, and a fair number of legal immigrants are barred from receiving these funds under the ACA. Right? They're spinning it as if they are, which is not true. It's clear in the resolution. I read it. It's fucking short. It's like a page and a half that the Democrats asked for. Right? That's it.
And the fact that like every news media apparatus isn't just like sharing that memo,
Right.
sharing that one-page resolution. This is what the Democrats say they want. Because that's the thing. All you have to do is be factually accurate about it. Say the Democrats want this. The Republicans said no. The government shut down.
Yeah.
And you're not. That's no spin there. You're not
Right.
taking a stance. You are stating empirically verifiable facts.
And now what's
that just
bothersome
happened to
is
hurt
that
the Republicans.
they're letting the talking heads like Vance go on TV and lie with very little pushback. Like, and if they do push back, it's after the interview,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's garbage.
I did see Jake Tapper pushing back on Mike Johnson.
Good.
Insofar as like anybody ever gets pushed back on CNN.
It's pathetic.
Speaking of Mike Johnson, when do we get his Grindr profile?
Yes.
Dude who says you have...
Dude,
Release the files.
release the files.
Release the Johnson files.
I want to see what Johnson talks about when Johnson's trying to get his Johnson touched.
Yes. I want to feel like I know too much about him. I don't. I really don't want to know too much about him, but I want to know too. I want the opportunity to know too much about him. I want everyone to know too much about him.
Speaking of the government shutdown, the bailout to Argentina is apparently critical and necessary spending somehow. So we're giving them $20 billion.
Billion.
$20 billion
With a B.
while we're shutting down the government.
And it's not like Argentina is a strategic ally or anything.
Yeah, no.
We gave them the entirety of our almost the entirety of our soybean sales to China by destroying our ability to sell to China. So enjoy that, soybean farmers in Nebraska and Arkansas.
Yep.
But they grow a lot of soybeans there, and they are happy to sell them at a 0% tariff rate to the Chinese, because the Chinese purchase 52% of all soybeans globally.
Yep.
They really, really like soy.
I mean, they add a lot of tofu in their diet.
Yeah.
Like tons of it, which, is a great source
protein.
of protein.
Yeah.
Like, and reduces carbon emissions, etc., by eating that rather than beef. They produce a lot of beef in China too. But, and buy a lot.
Yeah.
But
Not from us.
maybe not so much longer. Republicans, Trump and Thune are out here talking about permanent cuts and warning that Russell Vought with this shutdown is going to slash and burn government agencies, and Trump is going to use this to get rid of all of the Democrats in the agencies and Democrat-picked agencies. They're going to try to use this as an excuse to slash the federal government even more in all the ways that help people.
Right, because they want you to die.
Yeah.
And I don't think we say that directly enough. They want you to die. They hope you die. They will facilitate your death in whatever way they can.
The small government versus big government debate is one of the dumbest on the planet.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Because it should be a smart government versus bad government.
Right.
You know?
And that's... If we are going to frame it that way, here's the thing. Like, the FDA overall is not big government. I mean, it is big, but it's not big government. It's regulating industry and making sure food and fucking drugs are safe.
It's
right?
why you can go to the grocery store and buy food and safely assume it will not make you sick or dead.
Yep. HUD, right? It makes sure to track housing statistics, and it helps poor and lower income people get housing and afford housing, and it in some ways helps increase the housing supply.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you
That's
hate
what HUD
seeing
does.
homeless people? HUD helps prevent that.
Right. You know, there are a number of, like, NOAA, all they do is, track the fucking weather and, ocean patterns and shit. Right? And so that's all. Tell me what about all of that is big government, right? It's not big government. It's smart government. I mean, it can do dumb things.
It can do dumb things, but I mean, any organization can fuck up.
Right. And badly written regulations or laws are badly written regulations and laws. So yeah,
You
but
rewrite those.
You fix
make
that.
them better.
But what is big government? Expanding ICE. By giving them 18 times their budget.
Raiding an entire apartment building and detaining everyone to see if they have warrants out against them, whether they're immigration warrants or not.
Right. A warrantless raid on an apartment complex.
They were removing children, naked children, from their own homes.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. Smashing doors, breaking windows, destroying property. That happened, was it night before last?
Yeah.
2 nights ago? 2 nights ago in Chicago. I have not seen it on any major news outlets. It's the kind of thing that...
I've seen it online and on TikTok, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I haven't even really seen it on Facebook.
Yeah, I've seen
it
it
almost exclusively TikTok.
And I've seen and read and watched local news in Chicago covering it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But ICE... breaking into an apartment building with 1,500 people?
Yeah.
And detaining almost everybody?
With the help of the FBI.
Yeah. That is insane. They held U.S. citizens with no warrants overnight.
To make sure they didn't have warrants. You should not be okay with that. I don't care. I don't care what your demographics are. I don't care what your political leanings are. You should not be okay with that, because they could come for you. They will come for you next.
Yeah. It's just a matter of time before if we keep letting these incremental thefts of our freedom, of our liberty, of our right to freedom, if we keep allowing them, at some point it's going to hit you.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time. But so that ICE raid, expanding their powers across the nation, utilizing the National Guard in U.S. cities, this is all this is big government at its worst and at its most dangerous. Expanding the policing powers of the state, expanding the criminal prosecutions of the state. This tough on crime brain rot that we have in America is dangerous.
And it has been for decades.
Yes. The subtle erosions of the Fourth and Fifth Amendment, particularly the Fifth, have been increasing.
And it started with the crime bill in '94 and escalated wildly September 12th, 2001.
Yeah. Like,
When they just, man, they saw an opening and they took it.
and they're still taking it. And
Yeah.
and
So, yeah, it's been diminishing ever since.
and we get to places where, the Supreme Court can rule that evidence of innocence is not in and of itself sufficient
Yeah.
for exoneration.
What does that even mean?
Like
what does that mean? Like, what?
it was in a case where all the procedural steps said, like, all of the steps had gotten to the only routes for appeal after that were on technical and procedural grounds, right? So it doesn't matter if there was missed evidence or withheld evidence from a decade before.
I mean, did you consider that perhaps the innocent person who was wrongly convicted didn't have standing?
Yeah, weaponization of standing. We've seen that. That I cannot believe we've gotten to a point where we've seen that, where the states in the student loan forgiveness debate, right? They had to do a two-step where the states that sued were harmed because of the lost economic revenue from collecting on the student loans, right? And the lost taxes from the collection, the processors, etc.
Right.
That gave them standing to sue the federal government and Biden particularly over his student loan forgiveness. I mean, that's two steps removed, right? It's the federal government's money, that they're collecting,
that they statutorily have the right to change the terms of those loans whenever they feel like.
Correct.
Like, that's part of the statute.
Yes. And then we get a bonkers ruling where John Roberts spends, I think, pages on the meaning of the word modify and never addresses the word waive.
Yeah.
Right? Where the line was that the secretary could waive or modify loans per X, Y, and Z.
Waive has, to my knowledge, essentially one meaning.
Yes. To forgive or to forego or to not require. That is what waive means. But he wrote a long diatribe on the word modify and then said that the federal government and Biden did not have the authority to modify the loans as much as to waive all of those.
Despite the law explicitly saying that they could.
Correct.
In those words.
Yeah. But see, he didn't use waive, he used forgive. See, and forgive isn't waive somehow. Yeah, that's how stupid that ruling was. And then
maybe
we get the immunity ruling
in
the other direction, which I do not understand. We are getting to a point where I have to take into consideration not just the case before me when it's going up through the courts, right? But who the political affiliations or ideology of the plaintiff are.
Right, which shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter.
It should be solely based on the merits of the case.
Yes, but we're getting to that point where we now have to consider that as an aspect for how the ruling's going to go. I am waiting to see the Supreme Court reverse itself repeatedly, right? As cases have a different ideological lens.
Well, I mean, Thomas did say that we should ignore precedent.
Yeah.
Basically. Precedent shouldn't matter. Why does precedent matter so much?
It's insane.
We need to restructure the Supreme Court in a way that no one has the political will to do.
I mean, we need to restructure everything.
I mean, yeah, but
the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court, I think it should be a panel of justices. Every case should have depending on the importance of the case, should have a panel between 3 and 7, randomly chosen from a pool of 43. You would just completely eliminate any sort of ideological slant on the court. Rulings would become about the law, just by virtue of the fact that you wouldn't. you would never know when you were bringing a case before the court whether or not you were going to have a court that was going to arbitrarily side with you or not.
Yeah.
And that's like right now there are people planning the cases that they can use to do away with marriage equality and birth control access and probably interracial marriage, that they would not be considering those cases moving forward with those cases if they did not know they did not have a friendly court.
Yep. And they've been chipping away at the right to privacy and the plain text of the 14th Amendment and we're running headlong into a fucking...
I mean, yeah, at this point, the whether or not you have 14th Amendment protections is solely based on the melatonin content of your skin as determined by the Nazi who works for ICE.
Yeah. We had a ruling, I shit you, all of a sudden, decades of precedent were thrown out the window to rule that ICE can utilize race as a primary factor for detaining somebody. Like,
so yeah, if you look Hispanic or Latino, they can just detain you legally.
There was a U.S. citizen who has been arrested and detained by ICE overnight or longer twice now because he's a construction worker.
I mean, but you know, Kavanaugh says it's really easy to clear up. You'll just be in and out. It's not a problem. I don't care if they could verify it in 30 seconds every single time. You should not be detained without cause.
Right.
And your skin tone is not cause.
And Kavanaugh has not been through the system.
No. He has avoided the system and accountability his entire goddamn life.
Yeah. It's not an easy... easy to clear up means a night in jail.
Yeah.
Right?
And then dealing with the aftermath of a night in jail, because everyone you know knows you spent a night in jail, and you have to explain that to everyone you know.
Yep.
And not everyone is going to believe you.
You've got the discomfort of handcuffs and maybe even like a scratch or an infection from it. You have a night of eating fucking shitty food if you ate it all, right?
Who knows who you are sharing that jail cell with, because they're throwing you in a fucking probably a county or city lockup with 20 other dudes.
You could risk contracting a disease. You can risk getting assaulted. You can risk you have your freedoms taken away. You are put in a scary situation. Jails are fucking cold.
You can't be sure you're
I've
going.
been in them.
You can't be sure you're going to get out.
Yeah, they can. Your name could, let's say you have a common Hispanic name.
Yeah.
Like, you're now going to be flagged on a potential ICE hold for like another 24 to 48 hours, right?
While they verify. And you better hope nobody else shares your name.
Yeah. And so,
because they're not going to look that hard to make sure it's not really you.
And that could, next thing you know, you could be accidentally rounded up, thrown on a bus, and shipped out of the country in 72 hours. Yeah. And you're a U.S. citizen. And that has happened.
Yeah.
That has already fucking happened.
And you know what? Fuck you people when we said it would happen and you said it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Fuck all of you. Fuck every last one of you. I hate you. I hate you at least as much as I hate the people actively doing it, because you fuckers could have prevented this and you decided not to. Oh, speaking of laws changed, did you see that refusing a breathalyzer in Florida is now a felony?
Misdemeanor, but yeah.
Yeah,
I saw it. It's stupid. Again, I don't care what your views on drinking and driving are. I really don't. Again, 6% of the population has done it. So
we could avoid it with public transit that ran all night, but we won't.
Yeah. I don't care what your views are on it. And full disclosure, I've gotten a case for it. Yeah, happens. Welcome to life. That being said, the Fifth Amendment has a prohibition against self-incrimination. You cannot be forced or compelled to provide evidence against you.
Right.
We've chipped away at that a fair amount. Implied consent laws in and of themselves should be unconstitutional, but they're not for some dumb reason. And on top of them, on top of the fact that they should be unconstitutional, an implied consent law that attaches a criminal, non-civil penalty to it should absolutely be unconstitutional.
Right. And I will not be surprised if this particular law is taken to court by someone.
Yeah. Like, but, you know, you shouldn't be required or compelled without a warrant to provide evidence against you by the state.
Right.
Right. You know, and that's when somebody refuses a test, a breathalyzer or a blood test, and the police believe somebody is intoxicated enough, they have the ability to obtain a warrant. Like
Get a warrant.
get a warrant
It's
to
and
force
it's like,
the blood draw.
It's usually like a call, and they just, oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it may take a few hours.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to avoid. They don't want to go through the work because they know that, like, if it took a few hours and the person
sobered up.
yeah. But that's just it. If it's if they didn't drink enough to show up on a test when you do a blood draw 4 or 5 hours later,
Yeah.
they probably weren't too drunk to drive in the first place, right? Like that's why they don't want it. They don't want to go through the trouble because they want to get you while you're fresh, right?
Right. And I don't know that it's true everywhere, but I know at least in some jurisdictions, it doesn't matter what your BAC is. If they decide you're impaired, they can still hit you with a DUI.
Yeah, here in Florida, if they have enough other evidence, like you were swerving or you blew a stop sign or you crashed your car, anything like that, and, you know, whatever, and they decide, you know, based on visual cues that you were too impaired to drive, and then it turns out you had, like, had a beer and a Benadryl, and you blow a fucking .02, they can still hit you with a DUI, right? Like, you were just drowsy, right? Like, they could still...
I know someone who once fell asleep at a stoplight and was found that way by the police.
That's funny.
Asleep behind the wheel because they'd had a little too much.
Were they actually drunk or just...
Yeah.
Okay.
But they fell asleep at the wheel.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's how they got their DUI.
I mean, you know, and maybe in that case, sure.
And actually,
right?
if I remember that time, they actually talked their way out of that one.
Oh, nice.
But that's how the cops found them.
But, like, you know, like in a case like that, sure, right? But forcing people to provide evidence against you without a warrant is...
It's fucked up, man.
It's fucked up.
It's fucked up, man. Don't do it.
And we should not be okay with this stuff. Like, I'm sick and tired of this idea that, like, you can wrap a bubble around everyone and the world, like, and, you know, bubble wrap off every human being. Like,
Yeah.
and it's amazing because the most tough on crime motherfuckers are also the ones who argue that the Second Amendment should be absolute and that deaths from gun violence are a small price to pay, right? For our right to self-defense.
Well, I mean, we need those guns to protect us from tyranny, except we will never actually do that.
And they will allow every other type of tyranny. That's
They will vote for every other type of tyranny gleefully,
right. It's
intentionally,
like
proactively.
And if you don't think that an implied consent law that requires you to provide evidence against yourself is a form of tyranny, I would like to introduce you to all of the factors leading up to the fucking Revolutionary War, right? Because they weren't half as... You were not 1/10 as policed by the British
Yeah, and it's also important to, like...
as you are by the United States government today.
It's also important to look, when you look at the Bill of Rights, like, they are in the order that they are for a reason, because each one builds off the previous one.
Yeah.
Like...
And the first 10 that we've got, like, they were all fairly equally important. So, like, but they structure them in a way that, yeah, like, oh, yeah, you can see where it's leading to.
Look at how many of them are about, like, what the government can force you to do in a court of law.
Yeah.
What protections you have against the government in a court of law.
Mm-hmm. And they, for some reason, ever since then, we have been chipping away at and eroding it. And there have been periods of ups and downs with it, ups and downs with it, ups and downs with it. And then the modern era happened. And it was just like, we got to criminalize blackness and drug use and people's activities out on the street. And we want to keep everything super peaceful and wrap bubble wrap around white, happy, quiet society. Right? It's like, no, fuck that. Fuck it. It's wrong. It's dangerous. Yeah.
And if you're too stupid to see that it's dangerous, that's a you problem. Don't make it a me problem.
Right. The reason it's dangerous is because it allows people's brains to accept more and more of it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the slippery slope fallacy is a fallacy, but it's not all the time. Like it's that once you do find yourself accepting certain realities of policing
it's just
and
easier
law and
to
order,
accept new ones. It's like, well, this is just a slight. We're just doing a little more. You just a little more your way into like you don't have rights anymore.
Yeah, I personally believe that we should have about half the laws on the books for like people.
I can't.
That we do.
I'm fucking dumbfounded that now of all things they're trying to reintroduce COSA.
Yeah.
Like, which is a fucking terrible, like, all you have to do is look at what the UK is going through with their ridiculous bullshit online child safety law that has made the internet essentially unusable in the United Kingdom.
Everybody in the UK is either behind a VPN or their internet sucks.
Yeah.
Like
you literally can't do anything without proving your identity over there now. And that's what they want for us, and that's insane.
And again, this very idea that we all have to prove identity to do anything in our own country these days, like the people looking at you when you go, you know what, like when you discuss like voter ID or whatever, and they're like, you gotta have ID to go to the airport, you have to have ID for this, you have to have ID, and I'm like, you don't actually see the problem with how much identification you have to do anything. Like, I should be able to pay cash.
Be anonymous.
And be anonymous. I should be able to pay cash, be anonymous, and get on a plane that goes from point A to point B within the borders of this country without anybody knowing that I got on a plane anywhere in this country. I don't give a fuck about 9/11.
Yeah, and just
fuck
because
you and 9/11, I don't care.
Just because I'm personally comfortable with going online and saying anything I want to say with my full face on display, not pretending my name's not my name.
Right.
Doesn't mean that I think everyone else should be forced to do that too, because some people, it's genuinely dangerous for them to do that. They could get killed for that.
Yeah, and I demand that the government stop impugning on my right to utilize any service I fucking want without their knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. Like, unless I'm using your services, Mr. Government,
you don't have a right to know what services I'm using.
Yeah. Like, and look, I understand plane travel can be risky. You can be used as weapons. I don't care.
And let's be honest, though.
I don't care. Even
none of the issues we've had with air travel safety would be actually fixed with any of the ways we've given up our rights to travel.
Right.
Like, it hasn't done anything. It's just been security theater for the last 25 years.
And I remind you that even in 2001, at the end of 2001, December 31st of 2001, when you took into account the deaths from 9/11, all of the deaths from 9/11.
3,300 of them?
Yep. Air travel was still the safest statistical form of travel in the United States.
And, yep. And you're still exponentially more likely to be killed by a right-wing white terrorist, domestic terrorist, than any radical Muslim.
And I don't know if we just put more resources into tracking Al Qaeda, like we were like Clinton
told Bush to do.
Maybe that wouldn't have been a problem.
It was apparently like the entirety of like every time a president leaves office, they like leave a letter behind for the incoming president. And apparently the entire of Clinton's to W was just like, you need to watch out for Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda.
He's going to be a problem.
They are the single greatest threat to American security on the planet. Watch out. I regret not killing him when I had the chance because I didn't want to accidentally kill a diplomat. but I still should have done it. Like, that was the letter.
Yep.
I regret not killing him. I don't think we need to pay any attention to this.
Speaking of everything in Trump is terrorism in Trump's America is a piece by The Verge, and they're right, like the things that have come, the executive order basically classifying, like calling people fascists, terrorism, being quote unquote Antifa,
being anti-capitalist.
being anti-capitalist.
If you don't like capital, if you've complained about your job, you're a terrorist.
Yeah. Identifying faceless ICE agents, that's a form of terrorism now. Offering mutual aid for jailed protesters, like
bail funds or terrorism.
Bail funds or terrorism. This is a massive assault on free speech.
Mm-hmm. And it's created a situation where terrorism is meaningless. And if everything is terrorism, nothing is terrorism.
I guess I am a proud domestic extremist, I guess.
Admitting trans people exist and should have rights. Terrorism. Yeah, that's... Not wanting to eliminate 1% of the population is terrorism. Not wanting to exterminate people is terrorism in Trump's America. I don't know about you. I am not pro mass extermination. Just rounding up entire classes of people and exterminating them seems like a bad idea.
Okay, but here's the thing. I'm just going to say it. I don't consider MAGA supporters people.
That's fair. How long before we get Earth X flags? How far off is that?
Oh, that's tonight too, isn't it?
Yeah. Episode 7.
Oh, man. Oh, Peacemaker, you're such a good show.
If you haven't watched it, you should.
Yes, it's really good.
I think the first season was funnier.
The first season was funnier. It had like more
it was more like pure entertainment.
Yes.
But I really like where season 2 is going.
The character development, like all that entertainment of season 1 gave us the character development of Chris.
Yeah.
Right? And showed us who the other characters are. Mm-hmm. And now we're getting like
story based on it.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see the next 2 episodes.
Same. But yeah, Earth X flags, that would be, oh boy. I think we're a lot closer than people realize by a lot. Like incrementally we are moving into more and more stages of an authoritarian takeover in service of a type of white Christian identity nationalism that also has a number of fascist characteristics. Right. And the support of genuine fascists and supporters of Nazism.
Right.
Like that coalition that we talked about for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Is where we're at now. And every day I spend thinking, my God, what's the line?
You know, and we are in a situation now where essentially Stephen Miller and Russell Vought are co-presidents.
Yeah.
Those 2 men are calling all of the shots right now.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Trump is a true believer on a number of things, and so he is steering the ship on that, like tariffs.
He is
like tariffs,
obsessed with tariffs because he's got cottage cheese for brains.
Like, I don't think most of the rest of, like, I don't think Stephen Miller and Vought would be, like, as gung-ho on our trade policies.
I'm sure that a lot of
themselves.
People in his administration are frustrated with the tariff thing because they understand that the economic problems it's causing are making their policies less popular.
Right.
Like,
now,
they could get away with more quietly without people complaining if the tariff situation wasn't causing prices to go up and supply to go down.
Now, of course, they want, at the same time, Miller does want us to be an isolationist autarky, right?
Right.
And so this tariff bullshit is in service of that, but I think he would want it to be slower, smarter, like force manufacturers to come back through more subtle means.
Yeah.
Right?
A little more coercive.
Yeah.
A little less fucking sledgehammer.
But I could be wrong because these guys are fucking lunatics.
And they are idiots.
Yeah.
Like, it's important to forget that, like, Some of them can think.
Speaking of which,
Most of them can't.
We need to bring back bullying. My God, Stephen Miller and Department of Homeland Security sharing that fucking image of the Statue of Liberty and talking about protect her from invaders. Like,
Did you see the video that Trump shared where he put a sombrero
yes,
and a big mustache on Hakeem Jeffries?
yeah,
That was something.
that's definitely something. But like, I mean, the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty, like
It's not subtle. It's not a subtle piece of poetry.
right. Like, she is not. She welcomes the invasion. It's
Yeah.
not an invasion, but she welcomes the huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Give me, you're tired and you're poor.
Yeah,
I-
it's
How do you people not know a goddamn thing about our country's history? Like, that's the other frustrating part about it is like we are made so much better and stronger by immigration.
well, yeah. I mean, like, if it weren't for immigration, neither of us would be sitting here because it's not like it's not like it's not like we are descended from human beings who evolved on this continent or anything.
Right.
Our ancestors immigrated here. I don't know when yours came over. I know my aunt was able to trace part of my family back to the Jefferson administration.
So
So my family's been here since at least the 1810 census.
weirdly,
Part of it.
I'm a super mutt of Europeans, right? And because of that super mutt of like Western Europeans, like depending on when my family came over, like 3 generations ago or the first French colonists,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah,
and
I'm the same because
yes,
on my mom's side of the family, I'm pretty sure that all of her grandparents were born in Europe.
yeah, like
So her parents were each first generation.
yeah, and
I'm
so
pretty
like,
sure. I don't really know the genealogy of that side of the family that much, and I don't talk to that side of the family that much. But I know at least her grandmother was born in Italy and immigrated as a little girl.
you know, I've got one great grandmother that was born outside the U.S. I've got a great grandmother that was born outside the U.S. Right, like, but also have like the Marquette expedition that fucking mapped the Great Lakes.
Yeah,
Right, like
yeah. I have
so
one of my ancestors fought in multiple battles with the Pennsylvania Regiment in Civil War.
So, like, I have as much of a claim to be here as just about any other white person, and like no claim at all.
And also, like,
and also, yeah, my bio dad is just enough First Peoples to like. Claim
and all
it.
of these people, all of my ancestors anyway, literally just showed up.
Yeah, that's the other.
They just showed up.
The latest of my relatives that came here, right, had to go through Ellis Island. That's how I got my name Green, right? He was one of the latest. He went through Ellis Island. It was like he had to do a short quarantine, and a medical check, and sign his name in a book, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
And it's funny. It's like you look at the reasons. Like people would write the reason why they were immigrating, and like writing stowaway was like valid.
Yep.
Like, if you snuck on a ship and got here for free, guess what? You were an American.
And Americans have convinced themselves that like we were the winners, like that like that we're different somehow from like the waves of like migrants coming from South and Central America.
Yeah.
Right? Because well they're not sending their best. Like motherfucker, like do you know how many of your ancestors came here as convicts, sold into indentured servitude to pay off debt or their debt to society, or were exiled for crimes from fraud to murder?
Do you have any Irish blood? Guess what?
Yeah.
They were probably kicked out and sent here.
You're fucking losers. Like the winners didn't send their fucking families. Like
No,
it wasn't like some guy was like, children, we need to leave our state and all our wealth and power and money and comfort. What we want to do is we're going to go over to this new place and farm.
Yeah, like
Or live in squalor in New York or
go
Philadelphia.
all the way back to the very beginning in the colonies. The fucking Puritans were entirely unwanted anywhere in Europe because they were so fucking annoying.
Yeah, and don't tell
They
me
were they were told to leave.
they didn't come for high-minded ideals either.
They came to be dicks.
Before like the century, the British century that led to the revolution, right? Before that, all the early colonies were fucking assholes. They were religiously repressive assholes who spent most of their time trying to figure out who among them was the witch, right?
Especially in New England.
Drowning, you did something I didn't like, I'm gonna drown you, and then pointing fingers and being like, you're not Christian enough. They didn't come here for high-minded ideals.
Yeah, the only people who didn't suck back in the early day, as far as colonists from fucking Europe, were the Quakers.
Yeah,
and they were just ultra pacifist,
and they were not in the first wave.
No. That is why you couldn't have slaves in Philadelphia, though.
That is why, yes,
George.
Oh yeah, George Washington. Which I guess Trump is expanding on the great American tradition of presidents who think that the law doesn't entirely apply to them. George Washington, signed the first Fugitive Slave Act, and then went out of his way to break it, to try to get back a slave that was going to be freed under Pennsylvania law, right? And she spent her whole life as a fugitive from him because she couldn't legally get freed in Pennsylvania under that law and the Constitution, right? But that was only because Washington would lie in court if he ever went to court. But he also tried his damnedest to try to not go to. He refused to go to court because he knew that if he went to order her back, right, that he would then have to prove that she was not there for more than 6 months, and she had been, right? She was counting down the fucking days and left on the day of, right? And so,
fuck you, I'm out.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about high-minded ideals of the fucking founders. They solved some very specific problems that the population
honestly
knew about.
They knew what they were doing was wrong, and that makes it worse.
Yes,
they wrote about what they were doing being wrong.
Right.
Jefferson knew slavery was a crime against humanity. Yeah. And he still kept his slave. He still raped his slaves.
Yes, he did. And also the Bill of Rights is not the framers or the founders' real big wish list. It was the thing that they knew that the people demanded, right? They couldn't get it ratified because we, the people, would have murdered them.
They had to give us something for allowing their revolution to take place.
Yeah, well, post-revolution, the articles,
right, but
the Constitution, because the Confederacy, the original Articles of the Confederacy, right? There was so much more freedom going on, right? And the federal government had no teeth, no power.
Couldn't do anything.
The states had some power, but also limited power because they had all these fucking militiamen that just fought a revolution. They weren't going to be you could go around telling me what to do, right? And then in comes George Washington to fucking break Shea, right? And then we get Constitution. And they gave us the Bill of Rights as the please
don't kill us.
Please don't revolt against this Constitution.
We would like to actually form a country and not immediately disintegrate into another revolution and become 13 separate countries.
Yes,
because that was on the table.
It was, and I wonder if it was for the best, really. Because again, if that had happened, it would have been a bunch of people who actually loved freedom,
right?
Pennsylvania, right? Telling Virginia to go fuck itself. Right.
I do like telling Virginia to go fuck itself. As a Marylander.
Virginia was going to Virginia back then. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting. The funny thing about the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast is that every single state resents the state immediately to its north. Virginians resent Marylanders. Marylanders resent Pennsylvanians. Pennsylvanians definitely resent New Yorkers. Yeah. It's just weird. It's fucking wild. Like, if you didn't grow up there, I don't think you would know that. Like, it's a weird cultural thing where, like, and we all make fun of New Jersey.
Yeah.
All of us. And nobody cares about Delaware. Anybody listening to this who grew up in that part of the country knows that everything I'm saying is absolute truth. It's like, yeah, no, that's fair.
That makes sense.
New Jersey resents New York, too, but, like, I think they have the most valid reason to resent the people to their immediate north.
Fair. Israel stopped that flotilla.
Did they?
They did.
I lost track of what was happening.
Yeah, so apparently...
By the time I got home from work last night at, like, 2, I was tired. I fell right asleep, and I didn't
apparently
catch
they
up
were,
on
like,
it this morning.
starting to board and detain them late last night. Like...
Yeah, last I'd heard, there were still, like, a number of ships that hadn't been intercepted.
That's fair. They might have missed some, but as of right now, they're violating international law and boarding ships flying under different
Bibi
nations'
has said
flags.
that no food will make it into Gaza.
Yeah.
Which, you can't say you're not causing a famine and then say no food will enter.
Right.
Like, it's an either-or kind of thing.
You know, but hey, we're letting 70 trucks in when we need like 600 a day. Yeah, we're letting 70 trucks in every day.
And if you try to, like, take anything off of them, we'll shoot you.
Right. Did you see that synagogue attack in Nikkei?
I didn't see any details about it, but I heard that it happened.
Yeah. Guy rammed a car in, got out, started stabbing people. The police shot him.
That's good.
Okay.
I mean, he had that coming.
Yeah. That's
And you're not talking about cops that are, like, super trigger happy either. Like, it's not often that, like, they shoot anybody in the UK.
Apparently, Pope Leo is criticizing Trump, and that's causing some...
he's telling us we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
On everything. Like, even he's like, you can't say you're pro-life and just be anti-abortion.
Right.
Like,
you got to support...
You have to actually, like, make people's lives better.
Yeah.
And not make them worse if you want to call yourself pro-life, which, that's fair.
You can't be pro-death penalty and pro-life, which...
No.
You can't.
You can't.
Right? You can't. You know, and if you're going to reach to biblical sources, we can go there, but you're really not going to like what the Bible has to say about souls, ensoulment, or abortion.
No, because it doesn't say anything about not doing it.
No.
It never once says not to do that.
Yeah.
Not a single goddamn time.
Now, treats a fetus as a property loss.
Yeah.
And gives a recipe for aborting your wife's pregnancy if you think she cheated on you.
It sets a maximum limit for how much you can demand of someone who causes you to lose a fetus.
Yep.
It's like, well, you know, I mean, you're allowed some remuneration here, but, you know, there are limits. You can't go crazy with it.
Trump has told the Congress in a notice that the U.S. is going to engage in armed conflict with terrorist drug cartels.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yep. Looks like we're giving more notice that we're going to be doing military actions in fucking South and Central America now.
We're going to invade Mexico.
Fuck if I know. We could. At this rate, nothing stupid is off the table. I mean, Trump's still talking about taking back Greenland to all those fucking troops. Like,
yeah.
That's the nonsense of that. What else happened? Oh, the shooting. Jesus Christ, the
Mormons?
The Mormons.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dynamic shifts in tone and conversation between shootings is like giving me fucking whiplash. Within minutes of the Charlie Kirk shooting, they were talking about an ideology at being left wing, right? And
specifically trans people.
And as things have unfolded, they've softened, like they've tried to find ways of like making the narrative fit, right? But still they're stuck on that, like, because every hour as they got new information, we were getting it, right? And then they were spinning a narrative and they still won't get off the narrative entirely, but they're quieter about it.
Right. Well, MAGA Twitter has settled on blaming the one group that they can definitively say he was a part of, which is the Mormons.
The Mormons.
They are specifically blaming the Mormons.
Which leads to a Mormon shooting happening. A Mormon church in Michigan gets shot up by a veteran. Huge Donald Trump supporter.
Big Trump supporter.
He had a Trump Vance flag in his yard. He's in numerous photos wearing Trump gear.
Yeah.
Voted for Donald Trump, clearly.
Drove his truck through the front of an LDS church and started killing people, started shooting people.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how true some of the details I've heard are. Like, I have heard reports that one of the things he did is he told the congregants that they had a choice between Jesus Christ and Joseph Smith. I have heard reports that apparently when he was a much younger man and he was still very bitter about this, he had been had his heart broken by a Mormon woman, a Mormon girl.
That's possible.
Which,
I don't want to
that.
get into the speculation.
But-
Here's what I do know: evangelicals, which he was,
Hate Mormons.
hate Mormons.
Call them a cult.
And MAGA Twitter has decided to blame
Mormons.
Charlie Kirk on Mormons, and then it cannot be a coincidence entirely.
No.
Like, now the language is what I really care about.
And also, like, it was an opportunity attack too, because it happened the day after the leader of the Mormon Church had died, and the services were unusually high attendance.
Wonderful.
So I don't know if he knew that and he took that as an opportunity, but like, it was an unusually high attended service at that particular church, because it was at all Mormon temples, due to the fact that they were memorializing the 102-year-old leader who had died the night before.
Jesus. The thing that catches my attention the most is how rapidly the media and the Republican Party have shifted on just talking about this one incredibly differently.
Yeah.
From the two prior shootings that made headlines, right? They're not talking about his ideology. They're not talking about. They're just saying, that we knew he was a family man, a veteran, and a Christian. They're not talking about much of anything.
Yeah, we
really.
get this.
But at first, the immediate reaction was, again, it was to point a finger on the left, and you can watch in Reddit, in the Ask a Conservative and other conservative spaces in Reddit, how rapidly it went from speculating that it was a transgender radical, blah, 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 to, well, we don't even really need to get into ideology. He was obviously just crazy.
Yeah.
Or he's a good family man. Or they spiraled about Mormonism. But, it was the shift from how they talk about it is amazing, because this man is not being talked about like he's a terrorist.
No, not in the slightest.
And
every picture they show of him, like even on the media where it's like talking about like what his motives might have been, he's always smiling and happy looking with his kids. Looks like a happy family man.
Yeah. He is not being placed in the proper frame that he is a domestic terrorist who murdered people for religious and political reasons.
I've seen them use his veteran status. It's like, well, it was his PTSD does things to people. It usually doesn't turn them into mass shooters.
No, and again,
and it certainly doesn't excuse becoming a mass shooter.
Y'all
like, go to fucking therapy.
Y'all motherfuckers aren't going to do anything to support better mental health systems in this country. You're just going to try to fucking, take gun rights away from trans people.
Well, I mean,
on the basis of mental health.
If you ask Ronnie Jackson, former doctor to the president, the best thing we can do is just institutionalize all the trans people in institutions that no longer exist.
The thing I want to talk about, I guess, from here is like that difference in extremist rhetoric, like how conversations shift and the failures of the liberal media to address it. Because again, that Daily Caller piece, like the guy,
it's unhinged.
It's unhinged.
I don't recommend reading it, but you should know what's in it.
Yeah.
Read somebody talking about what's in it.
Yeah,
but don't read the actual article. Don't give them the links. Don't give them the clicks.
right.
They don't fucking deserve the traffic to their website.
You know, they don't deserve the traffic.
But you could probably find 1,000 articles about it on Substack today.
They argue. He's basically making a call for political violence, and quasi hedging it as self-defense, but a type of self-defense of like, if you bump me, I will murder you.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
your existence is a threat to my way of life, therefore it is self-defense for me to kill you.
yeah.
That's
It talks about like going to protests and going to rallies and doing the Charlie Kirk thing, right? But if somebody like takes one of your signs, break all of their bones.
yeah.
Like hire security, hire found Jesus ex-cons for $1,000
Yeah.
a day to break bones at your events.
He said that retaliation needed to be summary and ultra-violent.
Right. You know, and that
Literally. I mean this literally. I am explicitly literally calling for violence. Like,
yeah.
I mean, he's not subtle.
And the Daily Caller had the audacity to put an editor's note trying to cover their asses on it and claim that it was hypothetical. But he says literally, he says explicitly, he makes a confession.
It's the funniest thing imaginable would be like just a screenshot of the editor's note and then the first sentence of the article, because it is, I am calling for violence, literally. That's how he opens the entire salvo. That's just boom.
After an editor's note saying that is not explicitly calling for violence.
We've talked to the author, and he has assured us that he means this only hypothetically.
Right? That's it. It goes on to say that some might say that my belief here is a little bit extreme. I simply do not care.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just 3,000 words of him explaining why violence good.
Yeah.
You should do.
Which, you know what? I don't innately disagree with you, buddy. Ingersoll, I think it was Ingersoll who wrote it. I don't innately disagree with you. Like, I think violence bad, but
violence sometime necessary.
Violence sometime necessary, and it's sometime necessary when government exceed legal authorities and no checks and balances. It's sometimes necessary when government allow terrible people to have all the freedom of speech and all the freedom of choice and action that they wish, right? While restricting the freedoms of opposition.
Yes,
right?
That's a problem.
See, I don't care that you guys have every right to say what you guys want to say. Go ahead. I care that you do and I don't.
Yeah. And I don't even care that, like, you getting punched for it is assault, and the person punching you will be arrested for assault.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
They have made the decision that taking that arrest is worth punching you.
I'll still donate to their bail fund.
Yeah.
Because I think you deserve to be punched.
And they might get one day, like has happened several times.
Right.
Where they were like, well, you did this, but we're going to give you 1 day.
But
time served.
But if the guy who punched you also gets a year, I would understand.
I would give to his commissary.
Yeah. I would, again, I support him doing what he did to you. I also support the law preventing it. So if he chooses not to do so, fine.
Yeah.
Like, neither of them are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Like, now.
Something can be moral and illegal.
Yep.
And that's just how it works. Like, that's necessary sometimes.
But you got this entire, like, apparatus, like, calling for violence and using violent rhetoric. The president of the United States using violent rhetoric. The fucking director of the FBI using violent rhetoric. The vice president using violent rhetoric. Half of the Senate that decided to jump in front of a microphone. Violent rhetoric. Nancy Mace. Violent rhetoric.
I did not expect her to become the most deranged person in Congress, but she is definitely in the running.
Yeah.
She's in top 5 at least.
And that's before you get to the talking heads. Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is on racist, anti-Islamophobic, anti-Islam screeds when he is not calling for violence.
Right.
After the Charlie Kirk thing, he flat out said they may call us like fascists and Christian nationalists and extremists and people who would take away their rights, and they would be right.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Our options are violence or extinction, I too choose violence.
Yeah, that's...
Like, if you're giving me no choice...
Then I don't have a choice.
Like, I want to work this out, but you guys live in a fucking fantasy land where the right has this caricature of... Like, look, I am to the left of most Democrats in a lot of ways.
Overwhelming majority. Yeah.
And far more libertarian than most of them, right? So, I'm the extremist to them.
Mm-hmm.
You call Barack Obama's ACA communism.
Like, at that point, words don't have meaning anymore.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like, you're going to, we're going to set up a system where you can more cheaply buy private health care insurance. Like, that ain't communism.
Going out of your way to, if you're Glenn Beck, say, right, compare, and Glenn Beck used to be a huge figure. He's a nobody now, but he used to be a huge figure. And when he was a huge figure, what did he do? He called Obama a Nazi over and over and over again and made people afraid that FEMA was going to throw them in camps.
Right. They're going to build camps. Remember Project Jade Helm?
Yeah.
Remember the paranoia over that?
I remember it clearly.
They're building camps in Texas. I would think Texas might have something to say about that, but they don't seem to.
Yeah. You paranoid, racist, fascist, Christo-nationalist lunatics have spent the last 35 years driving your bases crazy.
And now they're nuts.
You
caused it.
And you have no sense of responsibility for your rhetoric, for the actions that you've called for, right? The violence that is being perpetrated by the state against individuals. You don't care about any of that. And you have the audacity to tell anybody on the left to tone down the rhetoric.
I just, you need to turn down the heat. Turn down the heat, guys. Just turn it down.
No, everything is on fire, and you put it there, so fuck you.
Look, just because we built concentration camps in the swamps doesn't mean you're allowed to call us fascists. We can't tell you where those 1,200 people we put there are now, but you're not allowed to call us fascists.
Right? It's unbelievably... Hypocrisy isn't even the word for it. It
goes so far beyond that.
It is galling. It's deceitful. It's intentional. It's just evil. Like
just evil. And you know you're lying.
Right. That's you've all known since Rush Limbaugh doing his bullshit, right? Calling Obama the magical Negro, knew he was an asshole and a liar.
Yeah.
Like, he knew he was a piece of shit, but he wanted to be. He at least had more. He had more sense than them because at least he didn't hide it, right?
Your supporters may be fucking idiots, but I at least do give them the grace of knowing that they are genuinely idiots,
right?
Who don't know they're lying. They're not lying. They're just wrong. There's a difference.
I mean, most of them. Some of them
do, but like
the number of things they'll make up to seem oppressed, like
the story that went around where it's like I got a phone call at 4 a.m. from a husband whose wife was dying in intensive care because she overdosed on Tylenol to show Trump that it wasn't going to make her unborn child autistic. That didn't happen. You just made it up.
Yeah,
you just made it up. Because you didn't even describe how a fucking Tylenol overdose works.
And a bunch of right-wingers pretended to be left-wingers taking Tylenol on TikTok.
Yeah.
It was
stupid. I saw a lot of chiropractors pretending to be doctors explaining why Tylenol was dangerous.
My God, did I see a lot of that. This Starbucks cup thing that people were making up.
Yeah.
Fucking stories. Like, you and your fucking oppression Olympics. And you live in such a caricatured fantasy land about your opposition and where you stand in politics that you are willing to lie or say the craziest shit or when confronted with something that you know to be true, just say the opposite.
Well, I mean,
I give their base some credit for being idiots, but I also just think, half of them, Wall...
These are the same people who think it's like a personal attack on them that the NFL decided to have the single highest, most streamed musical performer on earth do the halftime show.
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't know who Bad Bunny is. I'm not particularly familiar with his music. But he is the most streamed recording artist on the face of the planet.
How come they're not putting Metallica on there? Because rock and music isn't the culture.
And
that's why.
Yeah.
It's not the
just
culture.
Like, I know you really want it to be like Morgan Wallen too, but like nobody but you gives a shit about modern country music.
Yeah, and nobody.
You're not the monolith you think you are. You're
Right.
not the center of the fucking universe like you think you are.
And there's not a rush to put a guy who said the N-word on the fucking
And
halftime show.
The whole purpose of the halftime show is to get people who already aren't watching football watching.
That part. It's not for you.
It's for
It's to
people,
draw in a new audience.
It's for people who otherwise wouldn't take the time to tune into an NFL game outside of the United States.
Yeah. I know you're all mad about Taylor Swift involving herself in the NFL stories by
It was
dating.
good for the NFL.
Right. Like, it gained them viewership.
There were a lot of young women who are football fans now because Taylor Swift was as visible at football games. And then they became NFL fans after that, which is good for the NFL's bottom line. It's that fucking simple. It's all just money, dude.
Like,
There's no conspiracy here. They want to make money.
The most streamed artist on the planet who is singing in like the second most spoken language on the planet.
Yes.
Like,
and I know this is really going to hurt some fucking feelings, guys, but Puerto Ricans are Americans.
yeah, that's the other.
Like,
Lots of you motherfuckers don't seem to understand.
they are 100% American citizens.
And him saying that he didn't want to tour in the U.S. had nothing to do with him being anti-American, you fucking morons. It wasn't an anti-American
No,
statement.
it's because we've made it exceptionally and dangerous for Spanish-speaking people
Yeah.
to tour here.
He does not want his fans to be detained and deported because he invited 40,000 people to show up at a stadium in Tampa,
Yeah.
right, with 25,000 of them being Hispanic.
Yeah.
Like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Like,
he's putting too many other people at risk doing that, so he's chosen not to do that.
Like-
and he's missing out on a huge amount of money. His bottom line is worse off refusing to do that, and he's doing it on principle.
yeah. You want to say something's anti-American? The reason he isn't touring in the U.S. like he wants to is what makes it anti-American.
And another thing.
That's the anti-American thing.
Those of you on TikTok with the red X behind your fucking username who are so goddamn proud of being Gen X, you make it your entire fucking personalities.
Oh, God.
The way I have seen so many of you freak out about the fact that he has been in pictures wearing a dress when we had Kurt Cobain is fucking mind-blowing. I think I saw Kurt Cobain in a dress more than I saw him in, like, not a dress.
Yeah, yeah. Same. Grow the fuck up.
Stop being bitches, you just fucking cowards.
Speaking of people I want to see grow up, I need to use the bathroom, and let's take a break.
Okay.
And then I want to bitch about somebody.
Okay. All right, we are back. Let's do Sam's good news.
Yeah, let's give Sam his good news before I
have a piece of good news.
trigger him, actually, because the rest of this is probably going to me triggering the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think a very piece of good news that we got this week is that Reading Rainbow is coming back.
Oh?
Reading Rainbow is coming back to the air after nearly 20 years gone, and it is going to be hosted by Michael the Librarian.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's good news. I think
Reading Rainbow.
think part of the problems, some of the problems we face now is that we've got an entire generation of young people who just weren't really encouraged to read for pleasure.
Yeah.
And they weren't shown the importance of just like reading for the sake of reading, because it makes you a more thoughtful person. Just the act of sitting and reading a book and experiencing a story that's not about you, I think that just inherently makes you a more thoughtful person.
Yeah, and you know, we're experiencing that, like, you know, an era of rapid new technology change, right? A century ago, the end of the 19th century, the beginning of the 20th century was another one of those, right?
Right.
And how people communicated with and complexity were all changing, and people were fucking going hysterical over that. You know, there were all these conspiracy theories about what electricity was going to do to people.
Right. And you went from like every family, every home having a piano where everybody would get together and sing together, to having radio where everybody would sit and listen to radio together. And then from radio to television, which and there was all these technologies that were like, people were convinced we're going to end the fucking world.
Right. And altering everybody's perception of reality. And then we stayed fairly stagnant from like the 40s.
Yeah, I mean after TV, until we got color TV,
right?
Which it's just TV but color. It's not that big of an advancement.
Yeah. So it was TV to color TV.
And then I guess after that would be cable, where you got like uncensored television,
right?
That didn't have FCC restrictions placed upon it.
But even then, it started a few channels at a time.
Yeah,
right?
and you had to pay for them extra.
Right.
I think one of the biggest innovation after TV probably was MTV.
Yeah,
that was probably like,
and the console, the gaming console, like
the Atari 2600.
Yep,
Pong changed everything.
But those were not as they did change a lot of how we operated in the world, but they weren't monumental, right? It was the internet,
and then the internet,
and our new complex. Like right now, we're breaking all these boundaries of science, right? Like all of these boundaries of science, in ways that we couldn't before the technological age that we're in now, right? And the computing age. And the complexity of it all is so much that basically, we're in this position of turmoil as we're figuring out what to do and how to live in this world like this. And one of the things that went to the wayside was reading for pleasure. And
reading for pleasure is awesome. And I like the idea of encouraging young people to do it again. Because I remember being a kid, and there was something like so exciting about going to the library and getting like 3 or 4 books I'd never read before, and like taking them home and like reading them in an hour. Right. And then going back the next day and doing it again because it was free.
One thing I want to say about that, for the youths out there, but also for adults and young adults and everybody else in between, because Hollywood is lazy, and they really don't like to make new things, right? There's a media based on almost everything, or that almost everything you like is based on, right? Like there's something to read. Doesn't matter what your interest is. Yeah, that like pretty much every show you're watching, except for reality TV, right, is like I think like what 2/3 right now like are based on a series of books, or a book, right? Like so much of it is. So if you liked the Interview with the Vampire series, read the books. Read the books. They're good. They get real silly. They get real. Okay, yeah. The first 3 books are fucking amazing. Yes, the first 3 books are great. If you liked True Blood, yep, it doesn't go quite as off the rails as the show does. The Expanse. I've never read The Expanse or watched the show. Fucking Song of Ice and Fire. Yep, Song of Ice and Fire. Holy shit. I mean, the books aren't finished yet, but they do not go off the rails the way the show did in its last 2 seasons. If you like short form reading, and you have a hard time sitting down and reading comic books, if you are into Marvel and DC movies, read the comics, man. The stories are better. Yeah. And you can get like an omnibus collection that's like 6 to 12 issues. Marvel and DC also have online editions. Yeah. So if you really want to read there, it's like $10 a month. You can read all the comics you want. I read, I don't know, like 30 comics a week. Short stories. I don't know how prevalent it is now. You used to be able to just go and buy like a book that was just a collection of a bunch of horror short stories by a bunch of different authors. And some of them were great and some of them were terrible. But the terrible ones were only like 8 pages. Yep. But and you'd still read this story and be like, wow, that was a piece of shit. Yeah. That was fun. But a huge chunk of the movies and TV shows out there that are fiction are based on a book. Or a book series. Yeah. Go read them. Go read them. You will not be
You will not be upset you did it.
And they're never word for word, note for note. So there's always differences.
There's always differences, and it's not always the case. The books are usually better.
Yes, sometimes
There's more detail. You get inside the characters' heads more.
Right.
I'll
admit,
nearly any book series that is turned into a show or a movie, they necessarily have to take parts out.
Yeah.
Just because there's not enough time to put everything in.
You know what my personal favorite about that is, though? My favorite, one of my favorite shows on the air right now that just had its season finale, Foundation, is the opposite.
There's not a lot of...
Asimov was a great writer, but he was early golden age sci-fi.
It was an ideas time.
Right. And so he wrote in big ideas and
Clark's the same way.
and so he wrote in these really big ideas and didn't have a lot of like especially in that series because it's about like long arcs of history.
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of character development. You have a little bit of character development of each character.
And then you're jumping 1,000 years.
Then right, or a century or 1,000 years depending, right? And the Foundation series instead like fills in so much more, and it's so visually stunning, and they address things in a certain way, like the Empire in it, which is really cool. For those who haven't watched, like instead of like it being an emperor that is just known as Empire, and they never really talk to like they never discuss who's the emperor after another, right? Just like there's the one meeting with one emperor, and then after that it's Empire.
Yeah.
Right. Well, how they address that is really cool with this genetic dynasty thing, right? Where the first emperor, like, well, this one emperor, a fucking 1,000 years ago, is like clones himself, right? And sets up a system where there are always 3 clones: a dawn, a day, and a dusk, right? And at a certain point, when one's gonna ascend to the next step, they kill off the old one, right?
And they just move up the ladder.
And it's a genetic dynasty, and they raise each one to be like the same person. They all call each other brother, right? But they each have little variances, right?
Yeah, because they're different
people.
They're genetically the same, but they're different.
Yep.
They're different individuals.
And they keep a genetic dynasty going for 1,000 years.
That's interesting. Did you ever read the 9 Billion Names of God by Arthur Clarke?
I didn't.
Oh, that's a great story.
I'll check it out.
It's about there's this monastery that's got this idea that that humanity's purpose is to determine the 9 billion names for God.
Okay.
And that once there's this monastery, this monastic order that is dedicated to learning the 9 billion names of God. And they bring these 2 computer engineers in because the monks know that it will take them like tens of thousands of years to do it with just human power, but if they can bring in computer power, they could do it in maybe as little as a century.
Okay.
So they bring in 2 computer engineers to set up a computer system to help them out, and it goes places from there.
Excellent.
I don't want to give away the ending, but it's a short story.
Okay.
But it's got like one of the best gut punch endings in like classic sci-fi history. I highly recommend reading it.
You know, you got
I remember
Altered Carbon is based off of a book. Man in the High Castle is based off a book. Like, there's so many things out there that you like that have a book behind them. Go read them. That's what we're going to say.
You'll have a good time. You will not be upset or sad you did it. You will be thankful. And it's sitting and reading it's an active process. Like, you are actively engaged because you are reading, but it's also like it's quiet and you're sitting, and it's a peaceful process.
Right.
It gives you a chance to just decompress, and it's like meditative.
Ooh, I have one.
It's good for you. It's healthy for you to do it.
For those of you who never got into D&D but bought Baldur's Gate 3 and loved it, and you liked the setting, or you liked the Dungeons & Dragons movie.
Which was good, which was really good if you haven't seen it.
The Forgotten Realms novels, right? Written by different authors, set in that setting of Dungeons & Dragons, right?
It was Ed Greenwood invented it, though, right?
Ed Greenwood invented it, and R.A. Salvatore popularized it, really. Like,
all those Drizzt novels.
Yeah, Drizzt Do'Urden. Like, there are tons of them. Tons. Like, hundreds of books in that set in that world, and there's a few authors that do like, you know, have like show you one character through like 6, 8, 10, 12 books, right? Like R.A. Salvatore. And you can really like crank they're easy reads, they're fantasy reads.
They're fun.
Yeah. And they're very easy to read. They're, you know, like 200-300 pages, like max, right? Like, but real simple to read. Like
it ain't like slogging through a fucking Joyce or Pynchon.
Yeah, the reading level is like 8th grade, right? It's not stupid, but it's not high level, right? The reading level is like 8th grade, and the content of it is more like, you know, like a PG-13 to, you know, maybe a light R,
soft R, yeah.
Right?
Never a hard R.
Never the hard R. So, but they're easy to read. They're cheap. You can get lots of them. They're a lot of fun.
Go to a used bookstore. Find a used bookstore and just fucking buy something based solely on the cover being cool. You won't be disappointed. Well, you might be disappointed.
You might be.
But you probably won't be disappointed.
Yeah. There's so many fun things to read. So yeah, Reading Rainbow is coming back. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Giving me good news.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I just found out about it. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before I found out about it. I think it was the day before.
That's our good news for our buddy Sam, and it's good news for us.
And now we're going to ruin his day.
Now we're going to ruin his day. All right.
You're going to ruin his day.
I have 2 interviews and an article living rent-free in my head, all by Ezra Klein.
Oh, Ezra.
They're going to haunt me. And they haunt me.
It turns out the answer to what's better than Ezra is everything.
Yeah. They haunt me for a variety of ways, and one of them is actually because Ezra Klein is the most prime example of the NPR liberal.
Yeah.
Right? He is the like actual omni-liberal that Destiny wanted to be. He's this soft-spoken, really good interviewer with interesting ideas, like who is written out of the pages of a West Wing script.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like I said on the ride over, I saw somebody on TikTok describe him as constantly auditioning to be a West Wing character.
Yeah. And our friend Robbie described him almost identically, saying that it's like he wants to be a West Wing character. Like,
he very much wishes that Aaron Sorkin was writing every word that came out of his goddamn mouth.
Yeah, and he sounds like Aaron Sorkin.
He does sound like
every word out of his goddamn mouth.
I think
except he can't make a fiery. He never makes any fiery speeches. Like he's
yeah. I've never seen him do anything that one could describe as fiery.
But he is the exemplar of the class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that type has the biggest megaphones in liberal media right now. Like, they have the largest audiences. They have the biggest soapboxes. They are on cable news.
They are the people that Democratic leadership listens to.
Yes.
And takes seriously as if they are the only ones saying anything worth hearing.
So first, I want to shit on the piece. Charlie Kirk did politics the right way.
That is a bold statement that is factually incorrect.
And not only does he go on to say that, but it's like he says it is the exact right way. And it's wrong. It's wrong on a number of levels.
Well, there is no exact right way.
Right.
And if there was, it was not the way Charlie Kirk was doing it.
Yeah. First off, when he's really addressing what Kirk did, he sees pushing the boundaries of discourse in and of itself as a good. And that is not necessarily true, right? Pushing the boundaries of discourse, leading towards a more perfect understanding of the world and mutual agreement is good. But that's not what Charlie Kirk did at all. Like, he beat up on kids to make liberalism look dumb and conservatism look cool. Right. That was what he did. And
he would lie to do it.
He would lie to do it. Anytime he ran up against somebody who was prepared and knew what they were talking about, he lost. He lost bad.
That Cambridge debate. Oh, that was a disaster for him.
And those of us,
the last time he was on Jubilee,
yeah, that
was a disaster for him.
It was an absolute disaster. And the thing about him is I remember early Charlie Kirk. I'm old enough to remember when he first came out onto this stage and was doing this thing. He also had his fucking Professor Watch website. So anytime a professor or a TA got up and challenged him and argued with him and beat him in the game,
They went on the site.
they went on the site and then they got doxxed, harassed, threatened, calls with threats of violence, death, rape, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, campaigns to get them fired, right? Those 7 things happened to
Hundreds
hundreds
of professors.
of professors and grad
Faculty,
students and faculty, right?
TAs.
TAs. Yeah, that's why I say TAs. Grad students are usually TAs of some type, right? And they came prepared and had 4, 6, 8 years or more of education under their belt, right? Ready
They were ready for his bullshit.
for his bullshit. And he floundered when he got those ones. He didn't put them on his website. That was before all of us were recording everything. So, you know, he did a better job of putting the ones that he lost on after he couldn't hide it anymore.
Right.
But he still selectively edited
But
all of his shit.
the fact of the matter is that if I set up a table on any college campus in the country,
Yep.
and I determined what I was going to allow the students to debate me on, I would win every time.
Yep.
Just
Especially-
because I would be going in prepared.
Yep. And he always changed the topic whenever he was losing.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Straw man the fuck out of it.
yeah, it was bad. He was not doing it. He was not doing politics the right way, and he was a hate monger, right? But the piece really reads as special pleading for him and his class.
Right.
Okay, please don't hurt me.
Yes.
Please don't kill me. Like that's.
Which I fully understand not wanting to be killed.
But
Maybe don't be a bitch about it.
why are you doing this, Ezra? Like, why are you doing what you do?
Why are you excusing the context that creates a situation where people like you might be killed?
Right.
Because that's what you're doing.
You are ignoring all of the factors that created the conditions we're living in and just blaming the conditions and basically making a plea like, look, I am doing this same-ish thing. I'm in this cohort of influencers, right? And I don't want violence against me. It was very tone deaf.
The big difference, Ezra, is that if the same thing were to happen to you, there would not be hysteria about it afterwards.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a Nazi rally held with thousands of people. And,
People would talk. You would get your tributes on CNN, MSNBC, not Fox News.
They wouldn't try to force a moment of silence in the European Parliament for you.
No, people wouldn't be doxxed or threatened or harassed or their jobs called 40 times in 2 days
because they said
something mean about you.
Yeah,
None of that would happen. None of that would happen.
None of it.
None of that would happen.
So
I don't want to see you shot in the throat, but the response would be fundamentally different if you were.
yeah, and you're pleading for a type of politics that doesn't exist. And that leads me to like the interview that he recorded a couple of days before it, but he dropped after Charlie Kirk was shot and after that piece, which was his interview with Ben Shapiro. Like we talked about it a little bit before, but it's still living in my head rent free because Klein does not push back enough at all, like barely, on things that Shapiro is saying. And you can tell that it's like there is one, his interlocutor is a chain in a pipeline, right, towards extremism and denying truth, right? And Ezra Klein really just wants to get along with the moderate side of that,
Right.
and have healthy conversations with them where if just we find some common ground, everything's going to be fine.
And you know, if Ben Shapiro represented the most extreme of the right wing, we would not be having these problems that we're having right now.
No.
Like, because Ben Shapiro, wrong about everything.
Yeah,
He is definitely an extremist compared to normal people.
but
But if he were like our extreme right wing, we would fundamentally be so much better off as a culture than we are right now.
yeah, and they're like,
But he is compared to some on the right, and they will tell you this. Compared to some on the right, he is essentially a progressive.
yeah, he's a rhino squished to them.
Yeah.
Like, you roll
He's
back
a
the clock.
liberal.
You roll back the clock 15 years, and Ben Shapiro was like I wouldn't say fringe. I would say he was representative of like
As far right as you could be and still be marginally considered mainstream.
right. That's where he was 15 years ago, and his politics have not really changed at all.
No.
Like, but that's just it. Is he was as far as you could go then, and he is a stepping stone to further, right? And Ezra Klein, that interview, like, I actually do recommend watching it, because Ezra Klein is really trying to have this dialogue with him, but you can tell Ben Shapiro is just not an honest actor.
No.
in throughout it, but Klein doesn't do much to push back on that.
And what's ridiculous is that Shapiro not being an honest actor puts him at risk.
Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't want to be Ben Shapiro right now.
no,
Not with some of the weirdos to his right that are out there.
yeah, like you got weirdos to the right, and also you have like, as things are going, there is going to be an increased risk of legitimate left-wing violence.
Right. We haven't
Like,
gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet, but
we are creating the conditions where it's going to happen.
yeah, like, keep pushing. Like, you push me so far, and I will act. Right. That is, everybody has that position. Everybody has a space where there's a line for them.
Yeah.
And if they continue to create these conditions, that risk goes up. And then the third piece, my God,
The Ta-Nehisi Coates.
the Ta-Nehisi Coates interview. It was like an upper middle class AP history kid, right?
Yeah.
Trying to convince a sociology professor
Who'd been doing it for decades.
that he was wrong,
Yeah. No.
or to see things his way.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. You know, it felt like an academic versus a novice.
Yeah.
And Coates is what Klein wishes he could be. Ta-Nehisi Coates never raises his voice.
He is, and he's very smart.
Very smart.
I think he's probably smarter than he realizes.
Yeah.
Like, he's a genuine intellectual.
With a moral compass and the ability to frame the world, like, intellectually and morally at the same time, and put those two pieces together and come to a synthesis, an idea.
That's really easy to understand. He explains it well in a way that, like, you have to basically be trying not to understand what he's saying to not understand what he's saying.
But man, do a lot of people not want to. And they don't want to understand it. They don't want to hear it. In that conversation, you get Coates, Klein talks about how could we be in this world of, of violence? How could political violence be happening? How can and just like his piece where he talks about political violence in that Charlie Kirk piece, but he seems to fail to understand that, like, violence against minorities perpetrated by the state is political violence.
Yeah.
Right? That doxing trans teachers and putting them at risk and sending them death threats is political violence, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't understand that political violence is what happens to the marginalized. He was thinking about it just through his frame of his
been
class.
happening for 400 years in this country.
He was framing it solely through his class. And he's the kind of guy who thinks those problems are bad,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have the will to go about doing anything to change it hard enough, right?
Right.
He just thinks we can talk our way.
We've discussed this idea before, I'm pretty sure, on the show, but like Ezra Klein is the kind of person, he's representative of a class that are trapped in ought, while completely refusing to accept what is.
Right.
Like, well, we ought to be able to just reasonably and rationally talk through our problems and come to a shared consensus on what the best way forward is. We ought to be able to do that. That is not how things work.
Right. The moral arc of American history and history around the world is that some force needs to be applied.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just talk your way out of it.
It doesn't have to be physical force. It can be economic force. It can be social pressure. It can be all kinds of force. But force has to be a consideration. It has to be used.
You know,
pressure has to be applied to affect change.
Attitudes around civil rights and minority rights and the rights of the LGBTQ community, right, followed legal action.
Yeah.
Right? Like, making it illegal to be racist in the workplace and discriminatory, and for there being mechanisms to address that,
made people less racist.
Right.
Because when you socially enforce it long enough, you don't have to socially enforce it anymore after a point, because it just becomes what society expects.
Yeah.
And it's just, you grow up in that environment, and you're
following the social contract. Like, and
you don't even think about it as something that you're doing. You're just doing it because it's how you were raised.
And if racism and bigotry and homophobia and sexism are rampant in the workplace, that also becomes a permissive structure, right?
Right.
Normalizing and creating more bigotry.
Yeah,
right?
and you can even see that over just like the last 4 or 5 years, even the last 9 months. Like, things that I am seeing people openly say online are things that no one would have thought to dream of allowing themselves to be recorded saying 5 years ago.
Yeah, not at all.
The unhinged, deranged, openly bigoted shit that I see now.
MAGA is a permissive structure.
Yeah.
It's a stochastic terrorism model. It's a stochastic model in general. Like, you do one thing and it expands.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and you cannot pinpoint all of the variables in which it's going to change, right? It creates larger change, right, after one moment, right?
Right.
And so it's infectious. And Klein seems to fail to grasp how that is. And so he wants to talk about, like, you know, how can this climate be? And Coates says, I'm a black man in America.
That's how it's always been.
Right. Like, and I look at things historically and through a historical lens and how things, you know, all come together. And, you know, MLK was shot, like, for preaching love, man. Like, you know, and Klein's like, well, let's just kind of talk about the last, like, 5, 10, 15 years. Like, let's
the last 5 and 10 years don't exist outside of the context of everything that came before it.
He wants to talk about the immediate political ramifications, and he keeps asking basically, like, what can Democrats do to win? Which, hey, good question.
But that's a question for, like, the Democratic Party to figure out.
Coates is basically like, it's not a question for you to ask me. My job is to talk about this in context of history and the problems and, like, the moral weight of it all and how people should feel about it, right?
Yeah.
Your job as a liberal politico, like, yes, you are a journalist, but you are a journalist with a point of view and that the Democratic Party listens to. Like, you have responsibility.
Yeah, especially if you're someone that the Democratic Party listens to the exclusion of other voices.
Yes.
Because, I mean, he's telling them what they want to hear, which is what they want to hear is that, man, if you're just reasonable and calm and moderate enough, people will decide that you're right because they'll just see the truth in what you're saying.
Exactly.
They'll just see it.
It doesn't work like that. It hasn't worked like that for a long time. It used to.
Somewhat.
Maybe. You're right.
Never to the extent that they thought it did.
Yes. Like, you were 100% there. Like, again, we had a Revolutionary War We had Shays Rebellion. We had
Immediately.
right. 88 years later, we had a civil war.
The country almost fell apart entirely.
Right. And then we
Hundreds of thousands of people died.
Then we had the slow battles over Jim Crow until
For 100 years.
Until it led to the civil rights era.
Yeah.
Right? A whole
Which
block of time.
was
Yep.
20 years of slowly expanding rights.
Yep. With 2 world wars in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Just nestled in there.
You know, a draft, an anti-draft movement, right? A movement for the expansion of, like, you know, there's all of these inflection points.
we can take this all the way back to the fucking Magna Carta if you want. Everything exists in the context of what came before it
Yes, and the force that needed to be applied
to affect the change.
right. Like, it wasn't just this magical moment of, like, 1964 happens and then everything after that is gravy, baby.
No.
Like, no. Like, it isn't. And you don't have this West Wing, like, you know, we just talk our way through it and people will find that we're right kind of world. And even then, you watch West Wing. I'm a huge fan of the show. I will not lie. Yes, back when it was first out, it was liberal porn for me.
Yeah.
I was jerking off to it because I believed in that shit too, right? But you watch it again.
But what's
Force is when they're
and what's
at their
funny
best.
is, like, you can even tell Sorkin himself started to understand that by the time he was writing the newsroom.
Yeah. Like, when they were applying their power
Yeah.
in the show is when they're most successful,
Yeah.
right? Like, even in a moment where they're utilizing their ability to talk their way through things, the shutdown episode, right? The fucking great moment of, you know, shut it down. Why he's utilizing a lack of government power.
And they were also very much using, like, their reasoned talking through the issue to explain their position as a pretext for the force they would use to make it happen.
Right.
Like, your reasonable discourse is just you setting up the place where you can justifiably use the force you need to make it happen.
Pass the legislation.
Yeah.
Take the executive action.
Do the
Do the thing. Create the movement. Which leads me to my, like, the thing that really jumped out from that episode, from that interview with Coates, is the point where Ezra kind of teases up that, like, you know, like, I wonder what my place in the world is, right? And Coates, like, poignantly asks him, what is your place? Tell me. He's like very directly.
Yeah, like, what do you see as your place in the world being now?
And what's your role? And Ezra goes, you know, I got to be honest with you. I'm struggling with that. I genuinely don't know.
Then take some time and figure that out. But don't pretend like you know what your place is if you don't.
But that's the challenge for...
Maybe you don't have a place in in modern politics anymore.
None of the moderates in the Democratic world and the Never Trumper world and the liberal intelligentsia really know their place right now in the world, because the world doesn't operate based on how they want it to.
Right, like when Chuck Schumer questions what his place in the world is. You know what Chuck Schumer's place in the world is right now? To be primaried by AOC.
Yeah.
That's Chuck Schumer's place in the world at this point. That's your fucking job.
Yep. Now, if he wants to do a better job than being primaried by AOC and he wants a place in the world, he could take a lesson from, he could stop listening to the imaginary couple from Connecticut in his head, right? And instead listen to some audio tapes and remember what it was like to work with Mitch McConnell when Mitch McConnell was in the opposition.
Yeah.
Right? And then go, oh yeah, I am the leader of the opposition. My party base hates this administration and everything that they're doing. And the American people aren't particularly happy about most of it, but they don't approve of us. So I'm going to do everything I can to stymie them.
Democratic leadership's pathological aversion to listening to what their own base wants needs to be fucking studied. Because I've never seen anything like it before.
And now I understand. I will admit that unlike the GOP, who have this magic tendency, like they're back in 2016, one guy wrote a piece that said that the number one thing that separates a Trump voter is authoritarianism, right? And he meant that as a mindset, like that. Some of us are more authoritarian than others, right?
Right.
And those that their brain is more wired towards it.
And it's important to understand that having an authoritarian mindset doesn't just mean that you want to impose your will on other people. It means you want a framework where will is imposed upon you so you don't have to make those decisions for yourself.
Yes.
Like, you want to be told what to do because having too much freedom scares you because it means responsibility.
Yeah. You don't want to be told what to do about the things that you want, right? But you want to be told what to do as far as how to look, how to act.
Right. You want the parameters for your behavior very explicitly circumscribed, so you know what the boundaries are of acceptable behavior, and you know where the limits are, so you don't accidentally step outside of them.
And you want to exist within a norm of that, like where the world, everybody's boundaries are the same, like and so you could be
because
on one
it makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah, and so that was like the number one predictor. Like the problem with that, like, is that you have within the Democratic base, it's 50 constituencies in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Right? It's not one movement. It's the pro-life Planned Parenthood movement.
It's every movement that's not an authoritarian movement.
Right.
Which that is such a large tent.
Yes.
It's
a lot of different affluent liberal pet projects.
Yeah.
Right? And now I think that we can get together and defeat these guys.
Right. And that's one of the things that you look at this giant large tent, like most of what they want aren't mutually exclusive. It's not like you have these constituencies where it's like, if this side gets what they want, this side definitely can't. Like, most of them can have a fair amount of what they want. Yeah. Especially when it's just like, I want like basic human rights.
Just, we cannot listen to like the Bill Maher's of the world, which are, just stop being, throw everybody, all the minority interests under the bus, stop being woke, and then maybe they'll stop being Nazis.
And especially when like you look at Bill Maher, it's like nobody's ever going to tell him he's not allowed to smoke weed and bang 18-year-old models. Like he gets to have the life that he wants to have as a multi-millionaire forever till the day he fucking dies, which hopefully is soon.
Yeah,
because his time has passed. God. His time had passed almost by the time he got fucking Real Time on HBO.
Did you ever see that episode where he had all the wrestlers on, Roddy and?
No.
Oh, it's great because he's kind of like he says something foolish. He goes, well, like some of the audience is in on the joke, right? Others, and they're like, joke? What do you mean joke? Like, you think this is funny? He's like, well, I don't mean it like that. I mean, it's a turn of phrase. And they're like, and Rowdy, like, like there's nobody's actually getting hurt. Like, it's like, and Rowdy fucking drops his pants to show where he's got the scar where his metal hip is. Yeah. He's like, broken wrist, 8 years. Yeah. Like, he's like
the outcome is determined ahead of time.
Right. There's some scripting to the whole thing.
The athleticism that it takes to not murder one another accidentally is far greater than it would take to murder one another for real in the ring. Like, it's easy to like genuinely harm another human being.
Yeah, hitting somebody with a steel chair, you can kill them easily.
It's really hard. It's really hard to believably fake it.
Yeah. And so
what the fuck was that noise?
World's coming to an end, I think.
The final trumpets.
I hear the final trumpets.
We're going to wake outside and a bunch of naked people are going to be finally ascending, although that's not supposed to be for another 4 days.
But yeah, it shows that Bill Maher, like, he's always been just some kind of guy who, like, doesn't think through what he's really trying to say.
I don't think he's thought deeply about anything in at least 25 years.
Yeah, probably.
And I feel like it's another one of those things where he largely stopped thinking deeply around 9/11.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people. He is half a step away from being like 2004 Dennis Miller at this point.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Like he's on that path.
But
he'd go do a comedy festival in Riyadh without thinking about it.
But like my plea for the squishy centrist liberals is that I agree with you on most things. I mean, I want very radical changes, but I agree with you on most of the moral issues.
Yeah.
And we have a ton of common ground. I need you guys to be willing to put up a fight.
If I get everything I want, you will already have everything you want.
Yeah. And if you get everything you want, I'm like 70% happy.
Yeah.
Like,
and then we can bicker about the details later, about the things that need to change beyond that. But
what I need from you is the willingness to put up a fight, and not just with people to the left of you.
And I need the Democratic Party. One thing that the Democratic Party needs to understand is that we do have a vibes-based political system.
Yes.
If you are seen as someone who is willing to like be bold and aggressive and confident, that garners you support regardless of what your position is.
Yeah, you can.
Like, you look at Mamdani. Like, there are a lot of New Yorkers who probably do not agree with him on every policy position as he has, who will vote for him enthusiastically because he's got the right fucking vibes.
Yeah. Like,
he sounds like someone who is interested in governing effectively.
Yeah, and
that's what people want. That's why Trump is popular. He says crazy shit, but he says it so goddamn confidently with his whole fucking chest that he sells it, and people are like, well, you know what? I might not like the policy, but goddamn it, he is forceful and confident in his position, and I respect that. And that's all you fucking have to do.
Right.
That's why, as bad as the Republicans are at doing their fucking jobs right now, the Democrats are almost as unpopular. Because you're seen as like, well, you know, we just can't, this is bad. We shouldn't do this.
Republicans are still seen as better on issues that the Republicans are currently crashing.
Yeah, like
the economy.
Why are Republicans seen as, to this day, being seen as better on the economy when their economic positions are uniformly disastrous all the time?
Yeah.
They've never been better on the economy. Fucking ever. The last time they had a sensible economic policy, Eisenhower was president.
Democrats for like 2-3 generations have been better on the economy in the measurable ways that people who care,
by
like,
any
that
metric,
care about it. Yeah,
any single metric. Unless you believe that the best thing for the economy is wealth consolidation in the upper class.
Right.
Unless you believe that's what's good for the economy, Democrats are across the board always better than Republicans, even when they're bad.
So I'm just begging the liberal intelligentsia to be willing to put up more of a fight and to be more bold.
Yeah.
Like,
be willing to be a dick.
Take action. Take stances. Stop hand-wringing over everything. You exist in a climate that is rapidly moving towards genuine political violence in the streets. And yeah, sure, I know you don't want to turn up the heat on that. Fine, I get that. But you have to understand that you are on the chopping block for elimination when these days come.
Yeah.
And if you don't help us do something about that,
like,
we're all going to be in trouble.
Is it going to take the DOJ finally finding some ridiculous reason to indict Adam Schiff to get y'all off your fucking asses and realize this is a goddamn problem you need to do something about?
And it's probably
because it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen. It's going to be nonsense. It's going to be something that's entirely fucking.
I have a feeling it's going to be over his mortgage.
Yeah,
because they already signaled that's what they might want to do.
They're going to do it to Letitia James. They're going to do it to Adam Schiff. They're going to do it to every single one of you who owns a home in your home district and in D.C. They're going to do it too.
They're going to find they're going to find a document where you might have checked the wrong box, or a year where you inappropriately got like the primary residence exemption on one versus the other when you were living in one more than the other.
Yeah, right.
Like, wait for it. They're going to look for
it. They're going to do it. They are explicitly only doing that. Like they've got people who specifically are just looking for that.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, if you ever saw The Wire, right? Mm-hmm. Like, a mortgage fraud case is like one of the government's biggest slam dunks, right? They've got...
Look at Al Capone, what he finally went to prison for.
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion.
Like, so, do something, guys. That's my pleading to you.
Stop. And, you know, the worst thing is you look at Schumer or Pelosi, like these Democratic leaders who've been there for like 25, 30, almost 40 years.
Right.
And you look at the way they would engage with politics when they were getting started. And they were confident and forceful and brash and bold and willing to, like, try.
Yeah.
You've just become complacent because you've been there too goddamn long. Nancy Pelosi is running for re-election in 2026. If she wins re-election, when she takes office in 2027, that will be her 41st year in that seat. That will be the beginning of her 41st year.
Almost
She has
many
had
years
her
as I've been
seat.
alive.
She has had her seat in her district since 1986. The woman she replaced was there for 4 years. That woman who had been there for 4 years got her seat. She died, and then Nancy Pelosi took her seat.
Right.
She got her seat because her husband, who had been in that seat for 20 years, died, and she won his seat. That district in California has had 3 representatives in the entirety of the time I have been alive on this earth, and then some.
It's like 60 years.
Yeah.
It's 60 fucking years.
So since 1972, that district has had 3 people representing it.
That's insane.
And half of that time, more than half of that time, has been Nancy Pelosi.
And
she just won't fucking retire.
I don't argue for term limits because I don't want to get into that fight. But
you can stop re-electing these people.
Right.
Primary them.
Yeah, primary them. And also just once you've been in for fucking 18, 20 years.
Maybe
retire.
think about why you're still doing it. Like
Retire.
Nancy and Paul Pelosi are worth like $950 million.
Yeah. And you're out of good ideas.
And you're old. Retire. Enjoy the fact that you are almost billionaires and just have a nice life where people don't try to fucking attack you with a goddamn hammer. Like that would have been it for me.
Yeah.
That would have been it for me. I'd be like, you know what? I've been doing this 36 years. It almost got my husband killed. I am going to just let another Democrat have this seat because a Democrat is going to win it.
Right. Like
I'm shocked she stepped down from leadership and let Jeffries have it.
yeah. I thought that was the end of it for her.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. At this point, I don't know that was the right decision because he's been spectacularly fucking weak in the role. I think she would be stronger as the minority leader in the House than he is now.
She used to be. I don't know how she stands now. She was an effective speaker and an effective leader.
She was an effective speaker. The amount of legislation that she passed through the House in Obama's first term is jaw-dropping. It died in the fucking Senate because of Mitch McConnell, but
yeah.
Holy shit, that was the most productive House session in history.
Yep.
438 pieces of generally good legislation made it through the House. We got 4 laws out of it.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch McConnell.
But she was good at the job at that point. But that was also
20
fucking years ago, 18 years ago.
18. So I'm just begging the liberal establishment to reflect and rise to the occasion and stop giving ground, please.
Right.
Stop giving them.
Stop giving them. And
ground.
also
stop meeting them in the
people
middle.
always talk about them being beholden to their donors or whatever, but most of the donor class is to their left at this point because they're really obsessed with specific causes.
Yeah.
Most big money Democratic donors are to the left of the Democratic leadership establishment.
So I don't.
They're not even listening to their fucking donors. They don't listen to their constituents. They don't listen to their donors. They're not just listening to AIPAC, despite what some of you say. They listen to AIPAC on Israel policy, but it's not AIPAC is not controlling the United States government in every single way, guys.
There's a much bigger Christian organization spending more money.
Yeah.
So
maybe if you want to scream about Zionists, scream about the Christian Zionists a little bit. They outnumber the total population of Jewish people by 5 to 1. Just in this country, just Christian Zionists in the United States outnumber Jews 5 to 1. All global Jewish people.
yeah.
There are 5 times as many Christian Zionists in the United States. Maybe focus on them the tiniest goddamn bit.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm asking for too goddamn much here. I know I'm asking for too goddamn much. Fuck.
Well, the leftists of TikTok may hate you for that. I
will shit in their fucking mouths.
Do it.
I will shit in their mouths and call it theory.
Now, if you don't rise to the occasion, there's going to be fucking violence, and you know it. So,
yeah.
It's on you.
You can prevent it.
Only you can prevent political violence.
Like, do your job.
I guess that is a good place to end it.
That feels as good a place as any.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. This is The Grift. Give us all your fucking money.
Until next week, farewell.